Hello, everybody, and welcome to a conversation with artist Bob Magrisso, who is exhibiting in the 7th annual Evanston Made members group show. Hello, Bob.
Hello.
Thank you very much for joining us in this interesting way.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, actually.
It's kind of fun. What we're hoping is that although we all can't meet in person at the exhibit, we will at least introduce people to the artist virtually so they can get a better sense of the person behind the magic. So tell us what you're exhibiting in the online show. Is it behind you? It is.
Right. So it is actually behind me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether it's my right or my left, is the piece in the corner there. It's called unimaginatively man with bowl on his head or something like that. I've been doing wood carving for a very long time, and then about a year and a half or so ago I took wood turning classes at the Evanston Art Center, and I've tried to combine the two, and that's what this is. So this work has a real bowl on the top, and the whole thing comes apart if you want me to take it apart, but I'm not sure you need to.
Why does it come apart? With the intention that you can put it back together as a meditative process, or if you're moving?
Well, you can change it a little bit. I'm not sure. I kind of like the idea that it's not glued. I mean, it kind of makes me feel good that the pieces fit like a puzzle. And so that's partly why. But I can change the configuration of the arms and so forth if just for fun.
Fun. And why did you take a wood turning class? What tipped you off to that?
So I've always been interested in wood turning. A number of years ago, I'm a doctor, by the way, and one of my patients died, and the family gave me his lathe, which sat in my basement for a couple of years. And I was about to give it away when I met someone who said, "Look, I'll teach you how to do it," because I had no idea what to do with it. Once I started doing it, it was like magic. I mean, it was like just so enjoyable that I started learning from YouTube, and then I realized I needed a class, and that's how I took the class.
Excellent. And you just mentioned you're a doctor, so obviously this art journey of yours is supplemental. How did you get into art, become an artist, and call yourself an artist?
Well, I've been doing those stuff for probably 40 years. I mean, I've never taken any classes, but it's kind of my way of relaxing. That's not relaxing. I can't help but do it. It's my therapy. It's my life. And wood turning is just the wood sculptures and stuff is just one of the things that I do. I've been doing a lot of collages in the past. That was my main thing, drawing and so forth.
And did you always do you always try new mediums? Like, do you go from drawing intentionally to then woodworking, or are you just multidisciplinary regardless?
You know, I'm not sure there's a pattern to it. You know, I mean, one of the things is the work with collages is very different than the woodworking. I mean, it just involves a different feeling, a whole different means of expression. So that's kind of how it's gone. Now, the drawing, I have always been drawing. I'm a doodler. I'm an obsessive doodler. And so I've always been drawing. And then I got interested in color. I realized I was all into lines and dots, and I started to get interested in color. So I started to get colored pencils. So things sort of evolved that kind of way, if that makes sense.
And how is your practice different since, you know, the shelter in? We're hearing lot of different responses from artists. Some are very grateful to have the extra time in their studios. Others are in too much pain to create. Where are you at with shelter in and how it relates to your practice?
Well, in terms of my medical practice, of course, things have changed, and it's so I'm not really sheltering in place in the sense of not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
We do see patients and so forth, but it was very slow until the last week because we were only seeing emergencies. So I got to do more work. So I got to do more woodworking, basically, so which was nice. But it also made me realize that I kind of need my medical practice too to feel satisfied or something.
And you need many, right? You need art and you need work and you need a whole life.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you tell me who your inspirations are, especially for the work behind you, for instance? Sculpturally, who do you turn to for inspiration?
You know, I would say the Native American kachinas are probably my biggest inspiration. Not that I try to do things like them, but I have been involved for many, many years in a spiritual path. And it turns out that most of the wood stuff I do, I kind of put under the category of wisdom figures. And so that's kind of more of an inspiration than any particular artist per se. Though I love looking at sculpture of all types. But I am attracted to wood, which is not that commonly used these days because there's so many more, I guess, plastic or, easier to manage media.
And what kind of wood in particular? Are you doing found wood that you're salvaging out of a river? Are you purchasing new wood? What kind of wood are you using?
So a lot of it is from trees, down trees. I made a whole bunch of things once that I called Saved from the Fire. They were basically firewood that was used. But I also I also have purchased hardwoods at Owl Lumber in particular, which is out in Des Plaines. Mm-hmm. I love the wood there, it's just not cheap. So, but I really like the transformation of a stump or a log into something more finished. It's just a wonderful feeling to do that.
Like working from a single piece as opposed to many pieces?
So, yeah, it's nice to do one piece. This one here, if you can see it, that's one piece. Someone gave me this beautiful cherry log. It was too big to put on the lathe, so I actually cut it and then glued it back together. But that was a very exceptional to be all out of one piece. Mm-hmm. And that piece, by the time I got you probably can't see it, but the expression on that face, I really felt good about. It was kind of like I felt I had released the spirit of the wood. Nice. And I could tell it was good for me. I mean, I can't say for anyone else because I couldn't stop staring at it. And it just gave me such a good feeling. But most of the things I do are really combination of pieces. And partly that's because I don't think I'm good enough to do one piece,
Not yet, Bob. You have time.
Not that much.
I appreciate that your work is behind you. I appreciate you participating in the show. We have had such an interesting turnout of 95 artists who are in this exhibit. And yeah, I also appreciate you letting us into your world, interviewing you today.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We done?